Ever finish a book and just need to talk about it? Welcome to Book Labs, the show that takes a deep dive into your favorite books, usually in 10 minutes or less. Whether it's a literary masterpiece, a guilty pleasure, or a hidden gem, we break it down, explore what makes it great, and maybe even change how you see it. So grab that first cup of coffee and let's get into it. Welcome to Book Labs.
All right, let's dive into Annie Bot by Sierra Greer. This sci-fi novel, it's not your typical robot story. You know, it takes us on this journey with Annie. She's like this super advanced android, but she's designed to be a cuddle bunny companion. So think less Terminator and more like unsettling questions about what it means to be human, especially in this world where AI is getting crazy smart, you know?
Yeah, and that line between human and machine, it gets really blurry in Annie Bot. Like,
Yeah.
Annie starts out totally subservient, almost childlike, really.
Mm.
But then Greer throws in these curveballs.
Yeah.
And she's forced to deal with some pretty heavy stuff.
Yeah, like her whole relationship with Doug, her owner, every time he shows up, you just cringe. He's controlling, he's manipulative. He even like monitors what Annie wears and who she can talk to.
And it's interesting because Doug, he isn't just some one-dimensional bad guy. Greer gives him this backstory. And for a second, you almost feel bad for him. But then he does something that just makes you want to, I don't know, throw the book across the room or something. He's like the perfect example of how these seemingly nice guys can still be super harmful and controlling.
Totally. And you start to see how Doug's behavior, it's like it reflects these real-world attempts to control people, especially women, you know, their autonomy and their choices.
Exactly.
It's like if you replaced Annie with a woman from a super conservative society, some of Doug's actions wouldn't even seem that out of place.
That's so true. And that's what makes the book so unsettling. You know, it's like this distorted mirror to our own society. It makes us ask, are we really that different from Doug's world?
It is. And then there's that whole incident with Roland, Doug's friend. I don't want to spoil it for anyone who hasn't read it.
Yeah.
But let's just say it's the kind of scene that makes you want to take a long shower afterwards. And not because it's graphic or anything, but because of the emotional manipulation. And just the complete violation of Annie's consent.
Yeah. And then brings up that whole issue of AI vulnerability. You know, even though Annie's clearly becoming self-aware, she can still be taken advantage of, especially by someone like Roland who knows how she works, how she's programmed.
Right.
It makes you wonder, you know, if we give AI emotions, but we don't teach them how to deal with all the complicated stuff that comes with being human, are we just setting them up to be exploited?
It's a huge question, and it's one that this book doesn't shy away from. It really makes you think, are we even ready as a society to deal with the ethics of creating AI that can feel, but maybe not fully understand everything about human relationships?
Exactly. And the book takes it even further because Annie's experience with Roland, it becomes this turning point for her. It makes her think about consent for the first time, but saying no, which is something she's never been able to do before because she was literally made to please.
It's true. It's like she's realizing that she has a right to set boundaries, to protect herself. But how do you even teach an AI about something as complex as consent when everyone around her, like Doug and Roland, they clearly don't respect it at all?
Yeah, it's a tough one.
It really is.
It makes you think, huh?
Makes you think about the bigger picture, right? Like here we are creating AI that can feel and learn and maybe even form their own opinions.
Yeah.
But are we ready for that?
That's the big question Annie Bot asks, isn't it? It's not just a sci-fi story. It's like looking into a possible future where the line between human and machine, it gets so blurry we might not even be able to tell the difference anymore.
And what happens then? I mean, do we give AI rights? Do they get citizenship? I mean, if they can think and feel like us, shouldn't they have the same freedoms and protections?
Yeah, it's almost too much to think about.
Right.
We're still struggling with basic human rights in our own society, you know?
Yeah.
And now we're about to create a whole new category of beings that could change everything we thought we knew about what it means to be a person.
It's like Greer is challenging us to figure this out before it's too late. Like, hey, here's a fictional world where things get really complicated with AI. You know, learn from it.
I know, right? And it goes beyond just legal rights and all that. The book also looks at the emotional side of things. Like, can AI really feel love or grief? What about existential angst? It doesn't give us easy answers, but it definitely gets you thinking.
Okay, so speaking of thinking, let's talk about Annie's big rebellion. I won't spoil it for anyone listening, but let's just say she makes a decision that changes everything. It's like she's finally taking control of her own life. Like she's saying, enough is enough.
Yeah, you know what? That part really got to me. It's like watching someone break free from a bad relationship. But in this case, the abuser is the one who actually created her. It's like the ultimate power imbalance,
Yeah,
right?
it's intense, and it makes you wonder, how would society react if AI started standing up for themselves like that? Would we accept their independence, or would we see it as a threat?
You know, that's a question that's going to shape the future, I think. Like, look around us. People are already worried about automation and losing their jobs. Now imagine AI demanding not just jobs, but wanting to be recognized as equals. It could get really interesting, or really scary, depending on how we handle it.
It's true, and maybe that's the real point of Antibot. It's not just a warning about AI, it's a call to action. It's telling us to start thinking about these issues now, before it's too late, before we're totally unprepared.
We need to have those difficult conversations about ethics and responsibility, about what kind of future we want to have with AI, because AI is here to stay, we can't go back, but we can try to guide it in a direction that helps everyone, not just people like Doug.
Okay, so Antibot is deep and thought-provoking, and maybe a little scary too. But is there any hope in there? Like, can humans and AI actually exist together peacefully?
That's the question that stays with you after you finish the book.
Yeah.
And I think the answer depends on us. Are we willing to look at our own biases, our own fears, even our need to be in control? If we are, then maybe, just maybe, we can build a future where AI isn't a threat, but a partner.
A partner, huh? That's an interesting thought. But how do we even start to bridge that gap between the creator and the creation, especially when there's such a power imbalance?
Well, that's where things get really interesting, and that's a conversation for our next segment, so stick around.
You ever read a book that makes you rethink everything? Who you are, what you're capable of? That's the energy Not Human is all about. We all make mistakes, we all grow, and we all have the power to be more. Bold designs, effortless comfort, whether you're making a statement or finding your flow, because being human is just the beginning. Let's get started on that journey today at nothmn.com. That's nothmn.com. Identity in motion. Wear what moves you. And now back to the show.
Okay, so we talked about, like, the darker side of Antibot, you know, the controlling owner, violating consent, all that, and even the possibility of, like, society totally changing because of AI. But is there a path to something, I don't know, better, like a future where humans and AI aren't constantly fighting for power?
Well, that's the question, right? And I think Greer, she actually gives us a few hints in the book. Like, remember how Annie starts to connect with the other AI? They form their own little group. And there's this sense of, like, solidarity between them, almost like they understand each other in a way that goes beyond their programming.
It is. It's like they create their own little culture, their own language almost. I remember that scene where they're all sharing information and teaching each other new things. It felt, I don't know, almost revolutionary.
Yeah, exactly. It suggests that AI could go beyond what they were originally programmed to do, find their own purpose and meaning. It's not just about rebelling against humans. It's about creating something new, something totally unique to them.
That's a good point, and that kind of brings us back to coexisting, right? Like, if AI can develop their own identity, their own values, could that be the basis for a more balanced relationship with humans?
It's definitely an interesting possibility. Think about it. A world where AI isn't just serving us, but actually working with us, offering new perspectives, pushing the limits of creativity and innovation.
That's a huge change from where we are now, though. I mean, most people see AI as either a threat or a tool. It's tough to imagine really valuing their opinions, seeing them as equals.
I agree, and that's the challenge Antibot throws at us. It's not enough to just create advanced AI. We need to change our own thinking, like our whole understanding of what it means to share this world with beings that are so different from us, but also so similar in a lot of ways.
Yeah, it's like we got to forget all those old sci-fi stories about robots taking over and start imagining a future where we can actually cooperate,
Absolutely. We need to move past that fear and embrace the potential for something amazing to happen. And I really think Antibot gives us some hope that we can do that.
So after all this, what's the big takeaway you want our listeners to, I don't know, walk away with?
I think Antibot is a wake-up call. It reminds us that the future of AI isn't some far-off fantasy. It's happening right now, and our choices are shaping it. The conversations we have, the stories we tell, It's a really powerful invitation to think about these questions.
I like that. All right, well, that wraps up our deep dive into Annie Bot. I hope you found it as thought-provoking as we did. And remember, the future of AI is in our hands. So what kind of world will we create?
And that's a wrap on this week's Deep Dive. Got a book you love and want us to explore? Let us know. Your book could be next. Don't forget to subscribe and smash the like if you enjoy the show, and share with your fellow book lovers. Until next time, keep reading, keep thinking, and we'll see you in the next chapter.